Good morning, Andy Lockwood here with another edition of College Coffee Talk. Welcome. This is still an experimental stages type of show where I take one question that we have gotten, we meaning not just the royal we, but me and Pearl, my wife and partner. We do a lot of speaking, a lot of webinars, a lot of other stuff, and we always get people asking us questions because we in turn ask them, hey, what do you want to make sure that you learn today on this presentation? So today we're talking about how to appeal a financial aid award, or how to screw up your appeal, how to write a really bad one. So hopefully you can avoid these types of mistakes. So again, if you're just joining us, welcome. Please say hi in comments. If you have a question, pop it in there. Please share. Do whatever you like to do on Facebook when you like a video. I've been writing a ton of letters of appeal over the last couple of weeks, and that's why I'm not exactly formally attired today. It's been a late night and an early morning, cranking out anywhere from 5 to 10 or more appeal letters almost every day. So what I wanted to do is to distill down some of the biggest mistakes that I want to make sure that you avoid if you are a senior, if you have a senior right now, class of 2017, if you have someone who's younger, 2018 or 19, you can look ahead and avoid these, because being proactive is really half the battle with trying to get more money out of college. All right, so first of all, one of the biggest mistakes is not even realizing that you can appeal an award. I talk to people all the time, and I say, hey, let's try to get some more money out of them, and they say, oh, I didn't know that you could do that. Well, you can do that, and the reason that I think gets glossed over a lot, that you can do this, is because colleges are businesses, and they struggle, maybe not the super top tier elite schools, but the lesser schools, and I say lesser in quotes. The lesser schools have a hard time getting enough butts in seats. So they scramble around, and they have budget issues also, so they will engage in what they call leveraging their financial aid and merit scholarship offers. And I should have said that at the beginning. The tips I'm giving here pertain to need-based financial aid, which you receive after you fill out your financial aid forms, as well as merit scholarship offers from the colleges themselves. I actually think it's a little easier to negotiate merit scholarships. So that's the first mistake, first way to screw up your appeal is not realizing that you can even appeal at all. Remember, colleges will, many cases, not every case, but in many cases, colleges will negotiate, particularly if you are negotiating from a position of strength, meaning that you have a kid who is slightly above their averages in terms of grades and scores and other attractive qualities. You want to highlight those, I think, when you do an appeal. It's harder to get money out of a school that deferred you and then let you in, or that your kid had to scratch and claw his or her way into. You're going to have a much easier time if you have some leverage over the school, and having superior grades and scores is definitely one of those leverage points. Okay, now another way to screw up your appeal is if you give them bad reasons that they're not going to take seriously. So if you're writing a letter of appeal, let's say to the financial aid office, and you tell them, look, we need more money from you because we live in a very expensive area of the country. We live in the Northeast, or we live on the West Coast, in the Bay Area, or what have you. My feeling is that they know that, because you filled out the financial aid forms in most cases, or you've certainly applied to college, and put your home address and your zip code on those applications. So that's not going to sway them at all. Another example of a bad reason is, this is my first kid going to college, but we have two others right behind him in the next, over the next 5 years, and so on and so forth. That is a future expense, and not one of the several flaws in the financial aid process is that it is very much concerned with either the here and now or what happened last year, or in some cases 2 years ago. The forms don't really factor in what could happen, because that's conditional. So you may feel it's a certainty that your younger kids are going to college or going to private school or whatever, and that's probably true, but in financial aid, that is not factored in. So that's not a good example to give them. It's not going to be persuasive at all. In contrast, what I'm writing a lot of appeal letters about now is stuff that the financial aid office couldn't have possibly known. So, unfortunately, I wrote one yesterday for a mom who is not working at all because she has to stay at home and take care of her kid who has a brain situation, brain condition. So she can't go out and work because that would take time away from her son, plus the expense to hire a caregiver for her son would outweigh whatever salary she was able to bring in. So that's an example of something that they would not know at all that would prevent her, or at least very much hinder her ability to pay for college. Another example, I think it was actually the same client, she had income 2 years ago. Now the financial aid process looks at your income from prior years. That's the Department of Education vernacular. It's a 2-year look back for your income. And she had a high income because even though she wasn't working, she had sold some stocks to help pay for her regular living expenses. But that was a one-time thing. So another example, I guess, from the same client that I want to point out to you is saying, listen, I know that my income looked high, but that's not really the truth. The reality is far less rosy than what it looks like. That was a one-time thing. I am not going to earn that at all this year. In fact, I'm finishing up my taxes, and it's looking like, a lot less. So those are good examples in contrast to the bad examples. Okay, one of my favorite things to do is to have other offers. So if you don't have other offers, that might screw up your appeal also. What I mean by other offers is that, remember, colleges are businesses and they compete with each other just the way many businesses do. So if you are strategic about this in your junior year or summer of senior year, as you construct your final college list, you can throw in a few colleges that you have chosen specifically because you're more likely to get money from those colleges, and they compete for the same types of student as your A-list colleges. So that can be done sort of intuitively. You can have colleges that are rivals in, maybe the same NCAA bracket or maybe the NCAA conference, I should say. Or it could be program specific. There could be great schools that are on opposite coasts that are fantastic for business or for communications or something. They compete with each other also. So I think that is a great thing to do. If you don't have that, that's just one less arrow in your quiver. Some schools say we don't match offers from other schools. That's fine. I would still show them those offers anyway because I want them to know that my client is not able to, would prefer to go to the top choice school, but they're considering other offers purely for financial reasons. So either way, even if the school claims that they don't look at other offers, that's fine. Half the time when a school claims that, I can tell you firsthand that's not true because I've experienced good results when we negotiate. So that's the second and last tip, and I guess actually I have two more. Another way to screw up your financial aid appeal is by having a lousy, sort of entitled, not so nice tone, an aggressive tone. You don't want to be on the opposite side. You don't want to be of the table or adversarial with your financial aid officer or your admissions officer. You want to be on the same side. You want to be collegial and try to get something done. So be very grateful. In all the letters that I write, I will make it a point to say, listen, I'm very grateful for your offer, don't get me wrong, but, or you didn't offer me anything, right? In that case, thank you very much for your time. I realize you must be swamped. That is a much better way to get money as opposed to saying, oh my God, what orifice do you think I'm going to pull this money out of? How do you expect me to pay? How do you justify that? Those are real examples, by the way. I don't recommend them. And also, I just alluded to this, show that you have a respect for their time, meaning if you're writing a letter of appeal, do not write a six-page letter. Keep it to like 3 paragraphs, 3 short paragraphs at most. You should be able to say everything you need to say. And finally, if you don't ask for what you want, don't I think the cliche is the answer is always no if you don't ask. So in most of my appeal letters, when we have other offers, I will say something like, look, we're dying to come here. You're my number one choice, but we're being forced to consider these other offers. If there's any way that you could possibly meet or even exceed these other offers, we're 100% committed to coming. So that gives them an idea what it's going to take because they do that. They inside the financial aid office, but more so the admissions office, I would say, they will say, okay, I think that such and such candidate deserves about $18,000, but let's offer her 12 and see if that's enough. And then they have a little bit of wiggle room afterward. for all intents and purposes, that's maybe it's not exactly how it goes, but that really is how the decisions are made there. Now, if you want some more information, some more specific examples, we have a whole course on it. It's on demand. You can go to appealsclass.com. The link is right here in this post. And again, if you have any questions at all, please pop them in here. We do College Coffee Talk every day during the week except Tuesdays, because Tuesdays at 11:30 we do the College Talk Tuesday show, my wife and I. But otherwise, I'm here every morning during the week at 8:30. If you have any questions, again, I'm happy to review them in comments. Thanks for watching. Please share this with any parent that you think could benefit from this information, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.